you're going to be tuning into this weekend's fight, here's a tip. Check out my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Upgrade your fight experience this weekend with the official sports betting partner of UFC. Are you new to DraftKings? Check this out. New customers that bet just $5 will instantly get $150 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. That's right. New customers can bet just $5 on anything and receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to get in on the action all night long. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy where you have the chance to win cash prizes. Don't miss out on all the action this week at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app today. Sign up using dkng.co/Sonnen or through my promo code SONNEN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Nickels worth of free advice. Darren Till spoke up. Darren Till gave an analysis that he was not asked for. And that can always be a sticky situation in this regard. If you come out and you give advice to one guy to beat the other guy, you're now favoring that guy against the other guy. There's not like two ways about it. I mean, some guys get scared to come out and give you a prediction. Oh, yeah, I like both guys. I've seen guys in TV. I've seen guys with one of the few jobs where they're wearing the shirt and they're standing there and they're getting a paycheck to do it. And they get asked to give a prediction and then don't, or will actually say, oh, I like both guys. I didn't ask you for a popularity contest, you idiot. Like not even remotely closely am I vetting it from that perspective. I want to know in an ass whipping contest, which is what they're about to do, who do you think's going to win? And I mean, it's just one of these things where you have a hard time. Not to mention, picking against a guy doesn't harm your relationship with him. It shows an integrity to the question that you were asked. But this is different. Make no mistake. This draws a line very clearly in the sand. And Darren Till came out with unsolicited advice for Israel Adesanya. And you want to know something about Darren Till? I got to tell you, Darren doesn't like when I break him down. He doesn't like it because I can't cover Darren Till without telling you he hates to fight. Like, he loves everything about fighting. He loves the idea of it, and he loves the environment. He loves the perspective. He despises getting in there with another guy. That upsets him. He gets upset with me. But I wish that he won it. Because it demonstrates my understanding of Darren Till. And when he came out and he gave this analysis, guys, you want to know something? It was great. And I haven't seen Darren give an analysis for somebody else. I've heard him break down his fights, which you always take with a grain of salt. Okay, is he revealing game plan? Is he not? Is this mind play? And you kind of push it aside. This was different, and this was thought out, and this didn't come from a place of anger. It did make it very clear when he drew a line in the sand, I want Du Plessis to lose to Israel Adesanya. He did make that very clear, so there was a risk that he took. The analysis that he gave, he's talking about feints. He was talking about feints, which is something that Israel does naturally so well. Adesanya has been misunderstood at points in his career for the same reason in the same way that Anderson was misunderstood for points in his career. For the same reason and the same way that Roy Jones Jr. was misunderstood for his points in career, which was being cocky, which was being disrespectful to your opponent. And that is a mindset. That is not an action. That is a mindset. And that analysis is wrong. All they were doing was trying to set the opponent up. When you do a feint, did you guys ever have a jerk on the school bus? He'd do that, and then he'd tell you, 2 for flinching. He'd give you 2 punches in the shoulder. Did you ever see that? Like that was a fun game to play? But that's a very real thing. That's a very real thing in fighting where you make the person flinch. It doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter how skilled they are. What does end up happening on a human level is you will get used to certain feints. You will get used to head movement. You get this hand moving before it comes to this hand. So then you get the guys that are creative. Like Adesanya, like Roy Jones, and like Anderson. They will do something else, but it's still just a distraction. It is misunderstood by the audience that it was meant to be arrogant. And the reason I'm telling you that is Darren Till didn't go out and hand Adesanya something that he can't do. Like, that was my big problem with game plans and strategies, It was to the point that it even annoyed me. Hey, look, this guy's wide open for this. Okay, but I don't have this. I'm not equipped with that skill. So what difference does it make if he's open to it? These are the techniques that I score with. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, you can change that order, and you can say do 3 before you do 1 and then go to 2, but you can't go and tell me something else. And if we spent a training camp doing it, we both just wasted our time. If I did not learn a technique roughly 10 years ago, I am not going to use it in competition. So if you would like to show me something now, and you believe I got a decade left in my career, let's do it, and you might see it someday. But that's not what Darren did. Darren handed Israel something that he might not have known strategically. He might not have known that this would be effective, or this is an experience that Darren had. And by the way, it happened to be something that Izzy does not only naturally, he does it as good as anybody. The only guys I could compare him to is Roy Jones and Anderson Silva, and that's pretty big compliments, right? So it was a very great analysis by Darren, who really understands this sport and has a seat at the table. He just also hates to do it. Now, I tell you this because he told him to feint. He told Izzy to feint, and he told him what Du Plessis would do. He told him that Du Plessis will back up. He will back up. He'll be on his heels, which talks about, 1, the motion of his body, but 2, a lack of power. He's talking about it's going to be flailing a little bit. He didn't have time to put this in the tweet, but that's what that means. And that is what he was telling. That's exactly how Izzy would have heard it. But he says about Du Plessis that he will go back on his heels, that he will react to the feint, but when he reacts, he will defend himself. He will throw. Okay. That is a really big piece of advice. You could sit down and watch tapes to hell and gone. There's going to be things that you will not be able to pick up until you see it, until you experience it. Unless somebody else who felt it and experienced hands it to you. It's a very big deal. Let's say that Darren Till had this crystal ball and he knew this weapon that Izzy could use to win this fight. But between now and fight time, which is 3 days, 2 press conferences and a weigh-in, there's absolutely no time. He's got to develop it and learn. He's got to land it in the fight, right? That would be silly and ridiculous. This is something that Izzy does anyway. Darren's just encouraged him to go out and do it. Go out and use this skill, and here's what to expect. He's going to go backwards on his heels, and he's going to throw something back at you, so make sure that you use your reach. Like, this is fabulous piece of advice that Izzy does not need to go into the gym and work on. He does not need to go and train it. It's a skill that he's already equipped with. That's what I'm trying to share. I got flinched. I had fight 7 professional fights. This doesn't include my amateur career. And these fights were hard. My very first fight ever was against Mayhem Miller. Somewhere in my first 7, I ended up in the ring twice with Trevor Prang. Like, these were hard and meaningful matches. Get a guy that comes in from Nebraska. His name is Ryan Schultz. He fought under the Lion. It's his nickname. Ryan the Lion Schultz comes in from Nebraska. He was a wrestler. And he was smaller than me. Fought 155 pounds. And this is before he goes on and becomes the IFL champion and a well-respected coach and a leader. At this point in the story, his name is Ryan, and he's a wrestler from Nebraska. We start sparring. And he would flinch me. He would do these things. He would do these things. He would flinch me like the jerk on the school bus that gives you 2 for flinching. And I would react. And I would close my eyes, and I would freeze, and I'd put my hands up, and even if it was only for an instant, boom, he'd throw something. He would hit me so hard. He would hit me so hard. And I had 7 pro fights. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't understand. I hadn't met Clay and Hires yet. I had not drilled and worked on these things. I had no experience. Those 7 pro fights I told you I had, well, apparently those guys don't do feints, because I had never seen it. I would spar with him again the next day, and I'm still not aware as to why he's hitting me. So he does this, he does this, he's flinching again. He hits me again. I got to spar with this guy for weeks before I realize he's hitting me because of my reaction, and I'm reacting that way because he's feinting me. As simple as that might sound, guys, as simple as that might sound, it's a natural human reaction. That's what I'm trying to share with you. Over a period of time, when Chuck Liddell was the champion of the world, he was truly the best fighter in the world. And there was only a couple times in history where you could actually say that, right? You got a title, you got your politics, you got a whole bunch of guys that are working towards it. It's hard to know. You can know who the champion is, but who the best is doesn't always go hand in hand. A couple times in history, Frank Shamrock, Chuck Liddell, for example, truly were the best guys doing the sport at the time that they had the title. And there became an analysis on Chuck Liddell that before he throws that big power, he blinks. And everybody's got a tell. It's not just in poker. Everybody has a tell. If you can identify what it is, it's really helpful. And this analysis came out on Chuck, and it started making its way through the internet. And whether it was accurate or not, I never stood in there with Chuck. I never sparred with Chuck. Whether it was accurate or not, guys began to look for it, and Chuck quit knocking guys out. And I only share that you do have muscle memory. You do have things that you cannot control. It is natural human reaction. You can get better at it. But if a guy does a feint properly, he does something that you're not used to saying, there will be a moment where you become Medusa, you turn the guy to stone, you freeze him, even if it's for an instant. And according to Darren Till, that is a weakness and a trait that Du Plessis has, and it happens to be a massive skill that Adesanya is equipped with. It was a great analysis by Darren. He drew a line in the sand. He took a risk by giving it. But it does make me, the way I'm going to watch and enjoy and even anticipate this fight, now that I have that piece of information, it changes things.